Welcome, Brandon Hayes. I'm here with a good friend of mine, RTA, Miss Rita. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, thanks for asking. Before we get started, let me just get this out of the way. Follow Rita on IG, Instagram on I am Rita Duran, Duran. Listen to her two singles, U in Costa Rica, Cos
Pizza.
Cosita. I keep saying it wrong. I don't know why. On all streaming platforms, and watch the music videos to those two songs on YouTube. The music videos are great. I was gonna ask you for the music videos. What's your creative side when it comes to music videos? Like, what type of music videos do you want to have?
I love having fun and comedy. When I think about music videos, I want to just be a funny type of a video, like comedy kind of type of.
Yeah,
So
that's what I noticed with the two videos. Is that a type of music you wanted to make all your life, like a funny type of laid back, entertaining songs?
not really. My my dream type of music was like ballads and like boring, songs or whatever. But with time, like I love comedy, so I always try to like integrate like my ideas with things that make people laugh. So I kind of merge the blend it together when it comes down to visuals. So and sometimes I go too far out when I think about visuals, and but the matter is basically for me to create a concept that is almost like PG-13 kind of concept, and everybody can see it.
Hmm.
So
But what do you mean by too far out? Like, do you have some ideas that's just better off in your head than on screen?
yeah. So it's basically trying to convince whoever's working with you, how you're projecting your idea to them and how they understanding it. You cannot or never do things on your own. So you have to work with people, you have to work with teams. So trying to find people who are in the same like creative, wave that you are is kind of tough. So at times you have to compromise. I may have some crazy, funny ideas, and the other person may have better ideas than mine. So we have to compromise to say, okay, well, which one, or how can we merge our ideas and kind of, help each other out in a way of um, like team up, and create some sort of idea that is satisfying for both, the whoever the creative director is and myself. So, for example, with Cosita, um, the idea was too far. For example, like the song had, um, when you hear the song, is like very, how can I say it, straight to the point. Like, I love your
Yeah.
Cosita, I love your thing, but and the video, I didn't want to project it to be sexual because the
Hmm.
song is already sexual. So the expectation of whoever's helping me direct it was more of like, all right, how can we not make it so sexual, so people can actually watch it without um, the platforms being taken down because it's too sexy or too sexual or whatever. So we had to somehow compromise and blend the ideas to say, all right, great, we can be creative and we can be funny about things, but how can we also flip it to where it's just basically anybody can watch it. It's not just
Hmm.
like adults. So you can be watching the video, it could be 16, 17 or whatever, and not understand the concept because it's just like a funny idea and it's not offensive.
Who was the artist featured on Cosita? Great chemistry in the music video, by the way. What's the gentleman's name?
Grullon el Líder, Grullon el Líder is in Spanish.
Did you
So
guys get along on set? Did you guys bounce off ideas? Did you want to do some things that he wasn't comfortable with, or did you guys flow pretty well?
we actually flow pretty well. I have heard of him a while back ago. And when I saw how he works, I was like, I want to work with him because he's also like kind of a funny character. And I'm a funny character myself. So I reached out and I was like, hey, can you be part of the song? And he was like, oh, hell to the yeah. He just heard the track once and he was like, I'm in love. Yes, whatever, I do it. So our chemistry is pretty tight. We're both very creative. And then, writers, we both just crazy. So it was a great time when we had to put it in paper and record it. It took us almost like 40 minutes to do the whole song. Mm-hmm. So we worked pretty fast and it was really fun. So
other than another artist being funny or having a great personality, what else would you like to look for in an artist? Like vocals, lyrics, like what else draws your attention?
Just basically creativity. Like I don't have, I'm not so picky and I don't want to judge artists because everybody have different ways of expressing themselves. And what's art to you might be not art for me. So, but I just love people who are able to be creative and not be embarrassed to have fun. So it doesn't matter like what type of background they're coming from or, what language to speak or so on. As long as they're funny and they know what they want to do, like that's what I look for.
I asked you earlier, did you always want to make this type of music? And you said, no, it was a little serious at first. Who did you listen to and idolize growing up when you was just started out listening to music and you knew you wanted to go into music? You was like, you know what, this artist right here really motivated me.
It's kind of crazy to say. I was raised in a very sheltered environment, so the type of music that I was exposed was more of a like opera and classical music, as well as my parents' artists, basically like Jose Jose, Ricardo Arjona, Ricardo Montaner, like their style of music from like that genre, like that time frame. So like the 80s. I've never kind of looked into an artist like I want to be like that person. I want to be this, or to say like I'm inspired by. No, I think it was more of like what I was hearing as a kid, and kind of like push me to write a certain way and kind of relate. So I can do a whole bunch of different type of genre of music, but the one that kind of caught me on the hello part of like, I want to do music because these people influence me. I think Jose Jose and Ricardo Montaner has like a big role. Like they're male artists though, not a female artist, but the male artist, I guess because my voice was so deep that I could hit their keys. So I think that's basically it.
Where are you from exactly?
I'm from Dominican Republic.
Talk to us about your childhood. Was it music always playing in the background? Were you always playing instruments, or did this just develop later on in life? What was going
on? So music wasn't that of an influence at home. Like we didn't have. Well, my father was musically inclined. He was a bass player, and like maybe when I was, I don't know, I think 10 or 11, he gave me a organ, and it was something new for me. I picked it up on my own, like nobody sat there and kind of like teach me how to play the organ. I kind of like listened to songs in the radio and I want to like play them, and I'll create the instrumental with just the organ and my style, like my way. Mm-hmm. But I think my father was the one that kind of pushed me to, not purposely, but kind of pushed me to do music. So I kind of like put all my energy to just be creative on my own at home as a kid. So
when did you come to America?
I was 13.
So 2 years. So you're learning the cello at 10. I mean, it's a cello organ. You learned the organ at 10.
Yeah.
And then you spent about a couple years playing it, and then you moved right to America.
That's correct.
Did you continue playing the organ when you came to America?
Not really, because I couldn't bring it with me. And then coming to this country, it was kind of tough. in DR, we were like very rich and we had a lot of money. And then coming to United States, because we didn't speak English, we kind of had to be forced to, um, leave a lifestyle that was less than us. So the focus wasn't like, oh, let me put Margarita in like music class, or, like over there, like, okay, if you want to do something, just pay for it. And they just pay for it for you to be in a part of a like camp or something. Here it was like, oh no, if you want to do anything, it will be like after school. So I went to high school, and I was just like doing activities after school. So, but I was never like pushed to do music or motivated to be like, just do.
Does your music taste change when you get to America? Like, do you start listening to different genres? Do you start exploring more, maybe picking up a different instrument?
So genre wise, like coming here, I learned about Tejano music, which is, Selena back in the days and so on. So I think she had a little pool. But just, it was more of like inspiration of like, oh, wow, she did it. Look, I can do this. But Tejano music, hip hop as well, even though like we were very influenced from Spanish hip hop. When I came to this country though, like,
where were you living when you first came to America? Where, you said in New York? Where in New York?
oh, Washington Heights.
Washington Heights.
Yes.
Did you fit in right away, or was it a little bit difficult? Because I feel like at that age, 13, coming to a whole new country, not speaking the language, that's just a whole, it's holding you back a little bit. I would feel like I would be extremely nervous and just have so much fear and anxiety.
No, I think I was like so excited and happy to be here. I lived in Washington Heights, and at that time I was supposed to be in 11th grade. I came like in mid-year, so I missed already like half of the year, the school year, so I couldn't enroll. And through that time, my brother was managing the restaurant, so he asked me to, he was babysitting, so he's like, well, you need to come with me. And it was like a piano bar, and I had nothing to do, so I started singing at the piano bar. And I think that kind of helped me be more motivated to be here, more happy. I was having fun. I didn't feel like I was missing my friends or anything like that. It was just like exploring, and I loved it. So I didn't have so much of like an impact or change, but it definitely kind of pushed me to say, well, I want to do music, because I also saw the reaction of people and how they were reacting when I was like performing. And it wasn't like, wow, she's doing it like every night. It was more of like every Wednesday, we have the piano bar, you should come through. So yeah.
So you started to make a name for yourself as soon as you pretty much come into the country.
Yeah, that's correct. And I look older too at that time. So I think like I was, people were approaching me at that, that age, like I was an older young lady.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I was just 13, which I remember I had Sony Music that approached me at the piano bar saying like, we would love to sign you and do this and do that. And I'm like, what the heck? I didn't understand it. So I had called my mom and to set up the meeting. And when she found out that they wanted to work with me, she said, who the freak you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. You're just a kid. And she said that for the new school year starting, when I turned 14, she's like, you need to move to Rhode Island. So I ended up moving to Rhode Island out of my mother's own fear, because she feared that if I signed or became an artist, I was going to lose myself. So, and that's,
And how much resentment do you have for your mother because of all this, because of her fear? And it's so funny that her fear is holding you back, because fear is the energy behind your best work, behind your greatest, accomplishment. And it's not even your own fear, it's your mother's fear.
Correct.
How much, not hate, because I feel like that's such a a super
No,
strong word. But how much like of anger do you have towards your mother because of that?
it's not anger. It's more of like, I wasn't able to be myself or express myself the way I wanted to. And respecting her choices at a very young age for me was like the ultimate, like, oh my God, I need to do it kind of attitude, instead of saying, Mom, I'm not happy, this is not what I want. So I did kind of focus on sports, and I focused on schooling more. And I try to be on any like extracurricular activities that related to like any creative expression, like either acting or singing on any shows that we had at the school. But my mom never knew that I was so active creatively. And so sometimes I had to do the white lies, like, oh, I have a tournament, and it was basically I had a performance or a show, and she was never invited because she couldn't understand English. So sometimes she was, and she just chose not to go because she's like, well, I don't understand anyways.
If you had your mother's support, where do you think you would be right now?
If I had my family support, because I can't blame my mom only, but if I had my family support overall, I would have been pretty far.
Who
Like
else in your family do you
far.
wish you had a little bit more support from? Like your brother or your father?
I mean, I think like my family, close family, didn't believe in me either. They used to laugh at me all the time. I remember me at 12 saying to my cousins, like, I want to be an artist and I'm gonna be this and watch and watch. And all I remember saying is like, watch. And but they would laugh at me, like, and growing up, you don't think that that bothers you, but when you get older and they still kind of like laugh at you, or they still say, oh, here we go again, like this crazy girl, it does have an effect at times.
You still get that reaction from your family now?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like Focusita video, I'm dancing and I'm doing some funny moves or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a phone call right away, like, I see you, your booty shaking over there, and instead of them embracing it, like, oh wow, if good or bad doesn't matter, but at least embrace that that's who I am. It was more of like, what are you doing, like a reprimand kind of feeling, and I'm like, yo, I'm a grown-ass woman, I don't care what you say. So for me to get to that level, to not care of like what family members say, and it was like kind of like a big step for me.
Are you more critical of your work because you could get backlash from your family? Like, do you write out a song, then you look at it like, you know what? I see my father, my mother laughing at me right now. Let me put this off to the side. Or are you like way more of a free spirit? Like, I know that they can't control my life, so let me just put out whatever I want.
I mean, they have not controlled my life since I was 17. But out of respect, I always have this, in the back of my head, like how you say it, like, oh my God, I just wrote some nasty shit. I can't put it out, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, it kind of like prevented me to release music, prevented me to just do, anything basically, because I was afraid of what they gonna think about me. But now in this stage of my life, it's more of like, I don't care. I'm a grown woman. I didn't do anything wrong. I have never done anything wrong. And being creative and doing music is not wrong. So F them, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, but
So
yeah, it
okay.
had an impact on how I see, being myself, like how I see myself being creative.
So at 17 you said you was in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah, no, I left. At 17, I left home.
At
Like
17.
I graduated from high school, and I was like, just bye.
And at what age were you in Rhode Island again?
14 to 17.
14, 17. Okay, so you go from DR, you play music in DR, you learn the organ pretty much by yourself. Then you go to
Yeah,
New York,
yeah,
and then you're playing the like the diners, your brother's bar and
yeah.
everything. So when you go to Rhode Island, are you just thinking musically I'm gonna crush it because the past two places I have some music experience, I've taught myself, I performed in front of people. Rhode Island is gonna be a breeze, or were you still nervous hopping around different places?
I think that for like in Rhode Island, basically, I somewhat like an opportunity. So let's say through high school, it was like, well, when I came, I didn't speak English. That's one.
Hmm.
So that was very difficult. So, but they had like the Spanish programs, like Spanish after school groups. I don't know, whatever they call it, talent, whatever. And I just was part of it, and everything that I was part of, I was like the best at, you know. So everything that I did kind of was like a little step higher than everybody else. To the point that I won like the most artistic of my school, my 12th grade, you know, like the school year, as a high school senior. And people never knew I did music or anything. But those people who were acquainted, like even my mom did not know that I was doing like any type of creative work. I was just basically doing sports and, you know, just going to school. But I kind of like saw any open opportunity for me to express myself through any other how can I put it, like program, because I wasn't able to, but other people saw my talent, like teachers, professors, or whatever. And they were like, well, you need to do this, you need to do it. So I think like not having the support from my family or my mother at that time, because that's who I lived with, um, kind of drove me to be a little rebel inside. And kind of, it was kind of tough. I don't know how to break it down better.
Do you think you're a prodigy in a sense of everything you touch, sports, music, creativity, can just turn to gold that you know you can just excel really well at it?
I think so. I feel, I mean, I used to say that, like everything that I touched, I turned to gold. You kind of like spread my mind or my heart, basically, because really that's how I used to express myself. Like, you know, top sport or athlete in Rhode Island, you know, won a bunch of first class all divisions awards, you know, from getting all these awards in sport, to like having like the city citation, the state citation for like, you know, um the most valuable person as a, you know, as a teen, as my in my in that time in my age, to, you know, collaborate with the state of Rhode Island for like ideas for like being creative. So like I did a whole bunch of things creatively at a very young age, but nobody knew about it. Like my family never was aware about it because I keep it like hidden, as they believe that artists, you know, are broke ass motherfuckers. That's what how they express it.
And it's a shame. It seems like you're pretty much your only fan. Like I'm just picturing a football game going on, and you're the only person in the stands, and you're cheering on that team. It's so much adversity going against you. You would think you would have a little bit, just a couple more people trying to push you. When you get to the country, and I know you said it a couple times before, you can't speak English, and you start singing. Is that sort of your way of communicating? Because coming to another country and you're not really knowing how to speak the language, it's hard to talk to a lot of people. So when you're singing in front of this audience, do you feel like, okay, this is me speaking to everyone in this room, this is me communicating?
No, I was actually very shy and embarrassed
Mm.
because, you know, I had a group of people who picked on me throughout the whole my high school year. Um, like picked on me like I'm gonna beat your ass after school.
Why is that?
They were jealous, you know. Again, like we were talking, everything that I did, I kind of excel. Like everything really that I touched, I did very well on. And I remember my first tryout to theater. It was a theater music program, and um, do you remember that movie?
I know I remember it. I'm good at this.
Oh
Tell
Happy
me.
Day, that song. Oh Happy Day,
Oh, that sounds nice. You singing that
oh
good.
Happy Day. I can't remember the movie name, but it was about a nun or whatever. Anyways, we were doing it.
Hmm.
So when I went to audition, I got the role of the main lead singer, but I didn't speak English. But I just know how to say "Oh Happy Day," and my voice was really good, and they really like it. And the teacher was like, "I don't care, you know, I trained you, I coach you." And um, the lady, though the girl who wanted it really bad, you know, try to fight with me at the end, you know, after school. So And I couldn't go back home and say, Ma, somebody was trying to beat me up, you know, because then she know I was, you know, trying out for theater and the music program.
Growing up, were you ever depressed? Like you got picked on and you didn't get as much love, or there wasn't any time to be depressed because you're always working. Your mind is always thinking about the next thing.
Yeah, I cannot say to you that I wasn't depressed at that age. Now that I think about it, I think I was sad in a way because I didn't have the support. But I kind of channeled that support. Like my teacher supported me 100%. So as long as I had that type of support, I was fine. I didn't even think about family. I didn't think about my mom. I didn't think about any type of like negative. You know, I didn't have no time, like you mentioned, because I did have another support system. Um, but it, you know, it just feels bad. Like, you know, you go home and you have nobody to talk to about how you did or, you know, what's new. Yeah, it does have an effect. And I think it did affect me, you know. And yeah, I know
Yeah.
you mentioned like resentment. And I think that kind of like was like building up, you know, the resentment part of.
And I talk to people who suffer from depression,
Mhm.
and ask them similar questions like, hey, when you're a child and this happened, do you ever get depressed? And he was like, you know what, as a kid, you don't even really think about depression. You don't even know what the word depression means, so you just keep going with life just happens. So at that time, it's hard to be sad or be depressed because you're just living, you're still figuring out life at that young
Right.
age. You just thinking it's just going day by day. Okay, so when does this transition of you're kind of really taking a break from music? Like when does that happen?
Um, I got into church at 17, like
Okay.
heavy. So I graduated high school at 17. I became a Christian, and I think from that time, you know, and maybe like 8 years after, I was like oppressed, like put down, basically.
Has
Like,
anyone in your church seen your music videos?
oh yeah, from that
What's their
time,
feedback? Yeah, what's their feedback?
nothing. They
Too
can say
much booty?
I don't know. It doesn't know the story, but I have to tell
Oh.
you the story off air one day. But basically I didn't hear like music at all for like 7 to 8 years. I didn't know what was on the radio. I didn't watch TV. It was more of like a cultic kind of like Christian Pentecostal kind of church. So you know, when I came back into like learning about music again, I was already like 22 or 23 years old. And people thought I was being ignorant, but I was like, I don't know who that is, you know.
Hmm.
I didn't know who was Beyonce. I didn't know who was JC. I didn't know nobody. But it kind of helped me in this industry because people learned about me and they kind of learned that I was being um, natural or good-hearted, that I wasn't like trying to be people's friend because, oh, this is so and so, I need to be their friend, you know, like groupie type of style of friend. It was more of like, oh shit, she really don't know about me. Damn.
Hmm.
All right, she cool. Like my cool person. Like, so people got to know me as a person instead of the object of the looks, you know, like people put um, you know, out there. So it kind of helped me not being in touch with music at all, but it hurt me at the same time because it delayed my expression and the way I was doing. Oh, I want to do things basically.
See, I would also feel like it would help you because you're not trying to compare your music to anyone else's. This is fresh 100% you. So
Correct.
when you go back into music, do you pick up where you left off or do you create a whole new image, RTA?
Oh wow. So I think to be more realistic because I was not or I'm not listening to other people's music. I create my own style.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, you have like a very melodic kind of sound and like um kind of like of a blend of like house music and dance and a whole bunch of different things. And I'm like, yo, listen, I don't care what you say, thank you, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care anymore about people's opinions, so I just do me. um
Do
but
you
I
actually don't care about people's opinions? Because I know a lot of people say that, and deep down, come on. But
no
like, do you actually don't care about people's opinion?
no, I think because I spent a lot of time caring
Yeah.
and that was just hurting me.
Hmm.
So now is I really don't care because I'm not gonna have it. I don't have expectations, you know. In other words, I can't judge somebody like their style or their look or how they do things. I can't judge them. That's who they want to be. And I, you know, if they were not different or they were not themselves, then this world would be like whack, you know?
Hmm.
So not anymore. But before, yes. Before I was very, oh my God. I mean, you know, like now it's like, who cares, you know?
So do you feel like you created a new character once you got back into music?
Yeah. I think like I created it's not so much of a character, it's just more of like me being myself, truly open, being free to share who I am and talk about whatever I feel I should share. Most of the time people say, well, you being so sexual, but there's no sexual words in it besides subliminal messages,
Hmm.
and it's up to the person to translate it, you know, as sexual or not sexual. um but no, like I just want people to be happy, like enjoy my music in a happy tone because my music is more of like a, you know, you just want to dance and enjoy, you know, the time. But
I,
it's
I I know that you're focused on creating a great atmosphere and creating great energy when it comes to music, but I feel like your story is incredible. Would you ever just pour out your emotions to a song, like really describe your life, or maybe paint a picture about someone else's life, like just take a total left turn and you're not even there yet. You're just having fun with music and whatever happens, happens.
I think like it's so hard for me to express my like my pain or like emotions, like negative emotions in writing, or like me writing for a man, or like I broke up last night with you, blah blah blah. It's so hard. And I'm not saying that those emotions never been there, and I'm not saying that I've never wrote those because I have written some crazy stuff. But when I write, I kind of channel other people, other artists, that will sing those songs, you know. And I'm like, God, if I get a publishing deal one day, you know, this person can pick this song and that person can pick that song. Like, I never write those type of emotional songs for myself. So
Is it uncomfortable because you didn't really have a shoulder to lean on growing up? Like you didn't really have anyone that you can really talk to about your problem. So doing it now, does it make it a little uncomfortable?
it's very uncomfortable. So yeah, I think you hit it in the nail. Like I think because I didn't have nobody to talk to, or share my emotions with, or trust people with my emotions, um, I it's hard for me to express it in for myself publicly. It's not
Is
that I
it
don't write them, but it's like to share it publicly. Like, oh, I just my heart is aching, you know, like I don't know how to do that.
is it a trust within another person, or is it this like you feel uncomfortable sharing your stuff because maybe you feel a little weak?
Mm, I think it's more of like, yeah, being vulnerable, like of sharing that, you know, I've been hurt too.
Yeah.
That's like part of the issue. And yeah, you hit it, you got it.
Have you ever like even past relationships or even in therapy poured out your emotions, like really talked about your life? Because it's a lot of heavy stuff, and I know we didn't even tackle a third of your life, but just what you even told me, it's some heavy stuff. Like, have you ever really like told anyone like the full details of your life?
I think like first I hold back a lot of my experiences in my life because there's not a lot of people that I have met that can relate to what I've been through.
Yeah.
So also the changes with, you know, the language barrier and people not really getting my idea of expressing myself when it comes down to like emotional feelings, like being hurt and like um, because for example in Spanish you can express yourself that you've been hurt in so many different ways for so many different topics and really explain it. But in America, when you have specific words like, oh, you know, I'm emotionally hurt, oh my God,
Yeah.
like it's so different. So what may sound like I'm sharing my life to me sounds like a complaint in America.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I haven't been able to really find people who can compare to, you know, basically on the same, like my whole self overall. So like I have to mold depending on the person that I'm with or around, you know, in order for them to understand.
Yeah, I know this is probably a really tough question to answer, but do you think you would have been happier if you stayed in DR?
No,
Why?
because I still have the same belief system of like artists go nowhere, artists are nobody, artists, you know, don't make money, artists this, artists. So still, like, even though like as a kid, I'm not sure we talked about it in this session, but basically, you know, I was very artistic as a kid. I won ton of like scholarship programs to be part of as a young, in a young age, you know, like theater and voice. And even when the program was free, I wasn't able to do it, you know. So wherever I go or I went, it was going to be the same problem, because the problem wasn't that the tools wasn't there. It basically is your parents or your mother, at this time my mother, not supporting me. So
Do you still have that same mentality about artists? Like what you just said, that it's, it's a really tough business that you
it
really
is
do
tough.
sad. And
It,
yeah, it is super tough, but you still have that mentality right now?
no, I mean, I don't care. You know, I prefer to be broke, you know, and being able to express myself. Um, and as an artist, people really don't take it seriously until you have enough information or data or proof that you can actually do the job, you know. And I think that was a difficult part, because even I remember early in my New York time, Paul Rosenberg from Shady Records,
Hmm.
he just saw me. He's like, "Come to my office tomorrow. I want to sign you."
Mm.
He just saw me. I didn't know this guy from nowhere. I was just uh, working at a club. I did events, like promoting events, parties in Manhattan,
Hmm.
and he didn't know I did music. And then I had his right hand, Mark LaBelle, who I think at the time was the president of or VP of A&R at Shady.
Okay.
He was like, "Do you have a demo done? Do you have this?" And I'm like, "What is that?" Like, you know. So I think like artists have to be prepared in order for the opportunity, you know, to be there for them, because I wasn't prepared and I missed so many opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yes, and
So,
that was leading into my next question.
mhm.
One of the things, multiple, I feel like businesses you
Yeah,
do, you got the singing, acting, and what I really love is, you're, excuse me, you're managing different artists, and you're basically, I think, you're guiding them, you're showing them the light that you never saw. Is that
correct.
true?
Um, a lot is showing, like, you know, that support that I never had, more of like a cheerleader. So let's say you're an artist, you tell me who you are, you want to do whatever you want to do. I kind of help you narrow your idea to push you, or, you know, help you push yourself, because I'm nobody to push you to do your work. But I think the artists have to be motivate themselves at all times, because if we wait for other person to push you to do your music, or you do whatever area you're trying to do, it won't be successful, because it's always going to be like, oh, I have to do this, instead of like, I'm ready to do it. I'm having fun doing what I love doing. um, so like finding artists and that are able to be open to listen. They already know what they're doing. For example, they already know, they have an idea, a vision, and they maybe have some stuff recorded already. But when you're sharing it with a team, when you open, it kind of help you um, see the actual vision, or, you know, your vision. Because I want to make sure that if I'm managing you, that I'm following your vision. Not, it's not my vision, but direct you to the right space that you could be yourself and be able to express yourself and still find a way to, because a lot of people get in the business for the wrong thing. So they
Hmm.
want to just do it for the money. Oh my God, money, fame, power, right? But that's not the reality. That's not real. That's so fake. And the reality is basically, can you be yourself? Can you, you know, not feel embarrassed to express who you are? And that's what I look for when I'm working with people. I just want them to be themselves, with a guidance of like, oh wait, listen, this is how you know, publish a record. this is how you copyright your stuff, or this is how just guidance. So I want to make sure they understand, like, I don't fund artists. I don't kind of like, let me pay for your whole record situation, because I'm not, I'm not an investor, but it's more of like a management style of guiding the artists and providing the proper business ideas or resources so they can make the final decision. Like, I work for the artists. They don't, a lot of time they feel like managers are supposed to do so much for them. Like, nah, you tell me what you want and I'll see if I can get it. This is what I can do. This is the service that I can provide to you. And, that's how I work with people. So.
Rita, you've done it all. Tackle singing, tackle acting, managing. What's this this business venture you have, the social media platform, Hotness TV? Can you talk to me about that? Can you explain that to me?
So
it's called Hotness TV, right?
Yeah, Hotness
yes.
TV.
Okay, talk to me about it.
So basically, about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I was doing pretty well on Snapchat. Oh my God. I think it was like when Snapchat started, I was like part of that development group of a whole bunch of people. Like, I was getting like a lot of friends requests and all that stuff. And Snapchat came about because I was a vegan for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel guilty now. I'm not a vegan. So I took the time one day. I was like, let me go to this vegan festival, and I broadcast it. And I had tons of people looking at it, and like, it was like very good. And I was like, oh, I think I can do something like this about what's hot in town or what's going on. Like, so Hotness TV just came out of a small idea to like, I'm still working on it, but to implement it into a way, almost like a, what is that TV show that gossip all the time?
Like TMZ or Extra?
Like TMZ, yeah.
Yes.
Almost like a TMZ and Extra kind of, and like, that's really my goal.
Yeah.
Basically,
So you want to focus on like major celebrity gossip.
Not just gossip, cover entertainment overall, athletes as well, like sports, things that happen in the community, like good news, what's popping, who's hot next, like who's next, just a platform overall to, what's going on in entertainment.
Is it going to be more than news? Do you want to make it like a whole brand? Like different people have a show, a podcast on it, and they have their own personal information?
Yes, that's correct. That's like the mutating goal. Like that's the actual driven goal. So yeah, like we have different categories in Hotness TV, like food, entertainment, sports, news, just like the idea will be like a full show, like a full like live TV show. But it's tough to find people who can partner with you and work with you. So right now it's more of like, all right, well, one day at a time,
So your whole goal as of right now, when it comes to managing artists and running Hotness TV, you really want to not really put people on, but lift them up, give them that platform, give them what pretty much, I'm sorry to say, but you never had.
Correct. I think that's the main goal. Like the way you express it, the way you say it, to provide those that light to artists that I never had. So yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
Well, Rita, RTA, thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. Once again, follow Rita on Instagram at I am Rita Duran, Duran. Listen to her 2 singles, Oh and Cosita.
Cosita, you got it.
4th time is a charm. Thank God, goodness. On all streaming platforms, and watch the music video for the 2 songs on YouTube. When is an album, EP, LP, PP? When is something coming out? Single? When are you releasing anything before the year is up? After next year, is anything coming out?
I think I'm done for the year for now. As you mentioned, because I work with so many other different artists, and I kind of focus my energy to other people so they can finish their project. and I also like do music videos. So I'm kind of managing like everything. So like my goal maybe for next year, you know, first quarter at least to have my EP ready, to release more songs finally. So
If one of the artists you work with is like, listen, I need you as a feature. Can you please just write something down and help me out? Would you do that? Like, you
I've
know,
done
like,
that. Yes, yes, I've done that. I've done their music videos. I have written for them. I have definitely multitask. So help to the, you know, to meet the goal that we're looking for. So yeah.
you ever just get jealous? Not really jealous, but you know, you look at some of these artists like, listen, you should really be thanking me because nobody helped me at all. Only person who helped me was me. Like, do you ever just think about that in your head, or you just have the joy, you just love helping people?
No, I never think about it like that, but it crossed my mind sometimes how artists are very selfish and like they don't
Spoiled.
think, yeah, spoiled. They feel like you need to do everything for them and they don't want to do nothing, like lay back and just chill. And it's not like that. Being an artist is not just about, you know, showing off and this is my bling bling and this is this and this and that. And they forget that they have to put the work in. And then definitely I'm not doing their work. So they need to put their work in.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm not selfish or spoiled at all. I'm so happy that you're able to talk to me. You took the time out to talk to me. I
Thank
appreciate it. Once again, follow Rita on Instagram at I am Rita Durham, Duram. Please, you have to. Go. So many pictures of different hairstyles. You post all the time. What hairstyle are you going to start off for next year?
I don't know. I think I'm going
Do you think
blonde.
about that often?
Yeah. Because I was acting for a while in like 2016. I did a lot of work, you know, that required me to change my hair, my look, lose weight, gain weight. I definitely had to change my look several times. But I think for next year, I think I'll be a blonde. As you can see, I already started.
Halfway there.
I'm halfway there.
All right, good. Well, we can't wait to see that. Listen to her two singles, Oh and Costa. I just forgot.
Corsica.
I just forgot it. Fourth time was the charm. I overdid myself. On all streaming platforms, and please watch the music video for both. They're entertaining. They're great songs. They are fantastic. Rita, once again, thank you so much. We have to chat again soon.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, and I'm so happy that I'm here. And you know, whenever you know you need me again, I'm right here.
Absolutely. I'll definitely keep you in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.